All right, hey guys. Hopefully this video is not chopped up. I'm gonna try and keep it a little short and sweet, doing something a little different here. I did a pre-draw, which was felt. I got some beautiful company here. My friend Lisa, her man Jill, and Lilu over in the corner. But Lisa's gonna do a draw with me. We're gonna draw from some various decks. I'm gonna start though with, yeah, I keep looking. It's all good. But I've actually started working with runes, something I've been studying for a while, the Elder Futhark. So we each drew from my runes, and the first rune that was drawn was Suilo, which is sun. And please forgive me if I pronounce them slightly wrong. But I got, like, I'm taking a lot of my translations and stuff. One of my favorite rune sources is runesecrets.com. His name's Tyrell. I think he's done a very amazing job. It really resonates well with me personally, the way he's put everything together in his translations. So if you want to look more into that, that's his website, runesecrets.com. And yeah, the first rune I drew was the first keyword is sun, but the major translation, it's success. Some of the keywords: victory, guidance, mastery, wholeness, the seat of the soul. I love the quotes that he'll put with each rune. The quote that he chose for this one was, "The guide leads you to the doorway, then waits for your return." So some more key details with this rune is like success, as I said, and then there's goals, honor, life, purpose, faith in outcomes, and hope. And I think that's huge right now, like for the collective readings that I'm doing and like our manifesting new earth. I think that's just a beautiful rune to come out with in the second reading, because ultimately that's what I feel and know in my heart, is that everything is going to be successful. It's going to be, a whole new sense of wholeness, and just the honor in it, and like our own personal journeys that have brought us into this moment as we are manifesting new earth and moving into that 5D. The second rune drawn was Fei, which is the keyword. There's cattle. This is the rune of luck. Some keywords: wealth, new beginnings, initial conditions, financial strength, freedom, new beginnings, foresight. The quote he chose was, "Every beginning has within it the seeds of its own end." And I think that too, like just that quote alone is honoring our cycles. Like, there's birth, life, and death, and every cycle that we go through metaphorically within our journeys, in our life journeys of existence. Like we are born again, and we go through a process, and then it dies away to make room for the new. And that's exactly what's happening with our manifestation of new earth. Like a lot of the old ways, the old structures, systems that have been in place that are no longer working for us, no longer serving the highest good, they're coming down, and things are falling apart exactly where they should. What came up for me when I was reading, touching up on this rune, was like the whole concept of COVID, okay? And everything that's kind of been stemming out of that. But see, on the downside of this, like I'm focusing mainly because they all came up right, so I'm focusing on that positive. But with this one, I was feeling a calling to note like the negative aspects, which are greed, failure, atrophy, poverty, and endings. And ultimately, the way I see it, like if we would have kept going, and if we were to even try and keep going in the same direction that we've been going, like within the governing and this whole system, like kind of self-serving as opposed to focusing more on the whole, you know, like things like that greed, to keep that in play, like that's coming down. It can't exist. It doesn't nourish the whole. You know, the poverty aspect, the endings, like all of that is stuff that we need to, you know, like let it go and actually focus, find our voices, and like work together to manifest new earth, focusing on that which serves the self as opposed to self-serving. The second rune, or the last rune, was Anzuz, which is a god. Keywords are order, breath, gods, meaning, inspiration, communication. Find your ears before you search for words. Was the, sorry, I was like, shit, did I hit record? It's going, we're good. But, you know, like our call to listen, you know, like not only listening to each other and the different aspects that we, you know, we can all bring to nourish the growth of like the manifesting of new earth, but also listening to our inner voice is what I'm getting, you know, like having trust, you know, because some other keywords with this, like the origins of language, transformation, voice of the universe. So the spell song, you know, our ancestors, and then listening to that inner voice, because our ancestors, that's one of the key ways that they will speak to us is through our inner voice. So yeah, those are the three runes that I pulled. Lisa, was there anything that I was talking about there that you'd like to add to? Anything that popped up? I felt it.
Yeah. And then I lost it.
I should have shut.
Squirrel. Yeah. Yeah, I can't quite. Oh, I think it was when we were talking about the journey and that whole thing of the hero's journey over and over. Like, so we're going through like all sorts of little small cycles within bigger cycles and bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of that notion of the seed. And also too, the notion of the seed is like with the hero's journey, at the end of the journey, you always have a gift that you bring back. So it's that idea of the next seed for the next cycle.
Yeah. Planting
That's what
seeds.
was popping up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lisa is total goddess of a woman here. I have much respect for her, but she's like studied with various shaman, different parts of the world, correct?
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a beautiful healer, just like a mother of mothers, like such a goddess. I got mad respect for this lady, so I'm thankful that she was like cool to do this with me in this moment. So we're gonna do some draws. I'm feeling a couple decks in particular, and then Lisa has a new tarot that she's been working with. She's gonna do a draw from that. So I'm feeling we're gonna start with an ascended. We're gonna go with an ascended master, and then we'll go into the wild, and we'll finish off with the light workers. I'm trying to keep it a little bit shorter and sweeter for my people here. I'm trying to not have... Yeah. No, I'm not live. I'm not allowed to be live yet, I don't think. The fine print says I need 1,000 followers. So, like, share, subscribe, people. Yes.
Yeah, I'm allowed to have live.
Okay, that's good. We'll talk about that later. Oh, there's our first one. Beautiful. So, whoops. Cool. All right. We got 3 popping out. I'm going to just go with those. So the 3 Ascended Masters coming out. The first one was the flow of prosperity, which again, you know, like that just confirms everything there with the rune alignment that came out, like that flow of prosperity, the success that we're going to have in it as we're manifesting. What's up? Oh,
So
these
they're
were all popped
all
up.
three are the
That
same
one
as the
wasn't.
runes. So you've got the sun, you have a Vishnu, creation, journey, trust, and then you have Lakshmi, which is luck.
Wow, look at that. That's awesome. I think
So
Lisa just summed her up right there. That's beautiful. But right here too, that creation, like the creator, right? Trust. And also too, like just the emphasis, and to re-emphasize, because it's so important, like this whole manifesting of new earth, we are co-creators. Like we are, and it's trusting in that process and trusting in, what flows from us, not giving it too much mind, because that flow of prosperity, and along that journey too, like if things creep up for us that are like pulling us down from it, it's focus on your strengths, like focus on the heart of the matter, and like what we're actually bringing to the table that is of such benefit. We need to remind ourselves of that, and to trust that everything is all good. Prosperity is going to flow. It's inevitable. Bottom of the deck, so don't be afraid of it. Come out of the closet, like whatever it is that you might have been like holding on to. Don't be afraid to let it out. It's time. Like there's no better time than right now, and right now, absolutely, like bring it out. Come out of the closet. All right.
Okay, let's see where this one goes.
Ooh, lovely. The High Priestess.
Three of Cups.
Three of Cups. That's awesome.
Oh,
Five of Wands.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I don't know. So yeah. And I wonder. So we got just the parallel of the moon and the sun.
Well, we're coming into that lunar eclipse.
We have our lunar eclipse in a few days. That makes sense too.
And it's like it's a minor lunar eclipse, but it's very significant, and it's the third eclipse we'll have had within a 5-week period. And like the fives, in that 5-week period and everything, like
we got the 5.
There's a lot of it's said to be like a lot of readers and stuff, and there's a lot of like conflict that'll come around the fives. Personally, I've always learned fives to be the center, like the core of the matter. And it's like everything that's brought people this stability, like all the conflict that's arriving, is necessary for the growth. We're getting to the heart, to the core of the matter.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking too, it's that idea as well of because of the 5 of staves, that the whole or 5 of wands, the so that's kind of confusion, a little bit of chaos before creation. So my take is sort of that idea of coming up. So yeah, we have that whole lunar cycle, eclipse. We have that being in tune with our psychic side, our shadow side. So I do see that as kind of like the mirroring of this, in one sense, the shadow aspect, where there is this coming together, there is a bounty and a friendship, but then there's also that little bit of the calm before the storm. So I'd be kind of curious what you'd pull after this.
But what I got when this all, when you first brought it out, like the High Priestess, okay, she's all knowing, like, and having access to everything, all the information that we need, that makes things function properly, like, well, proper, bad word, but like makes things function, like helps things
Flow.
to function. Yeah, flowing, and but just like the way I see it, we've already, in our whole, like, in thinking global, we have everything we need, and we know what works and what doesn't. And that's where, like, looking to our brothers and our sisters, neighbors, like in different aspects of the globe, we can see, like, what have you tried that works with your people and stuff like that. And that's where, like, we can bring that more into a local aspect and help, like, by focusing locally on each other, but like implementing those ideas and stuff.
So as you're talking about that, it was that idea of that amongst the chaos, there's follow your instincts, follow the knowledge that's already in and given, and also have comfort within community. There's an abundance within your families and your friendships and in those relationships.
And with the Three of Cups too, there's like a really celebratory energy there, you know, like even if it seems like such a small little
Vessel.
growth that's come into play, like celebrate that, you know, like rejoice in that, because, and that gratitude, you know, that have an attitude of gratitude. Absolutely. Like, what's right in front of you, like what are the small accomplishments, because every little one ripples out into the whole of it. I want to actually, I'm feeling a clarifier here. Oops.
There.
Right there, Knight of Cups. Beautiful. So that's like, what I'm getting with this is there's a lot of emotion, a lot of heart that comes with the Knight of Cups. And what I'm feeling from this is like anything that you may have personally been holding back, you know, out of fear or whatever, like, don't bring it to the table, because there's so much good to come from it. Whatever you feel that like emotional charge from, as hard as it may be, as much turmoil has come from the emotion involved in it, to come out of that, you know, and like realize that what you have to offer, there's so much light and positivity and good things that will nourish growth to come from it.
So in my mind, it keeps shouting out that whole dark night of the soul process.
Yeah.
Coming up, like that's part of this in the next few days, perhaps, that those feelings are going to start bubbling with the moon coming, and those emotions that need to just be let go and finally released
Cool.
are upon us.
Do you want to do a shuffle?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, look at that. And more victory and success on the horizons. So just, yeah. Oh, Lilu is coming to say hi. Hey, Bumbacito. Say hi. Hi, my baby. What's up? Lilu's the mascot, manifesting you Earth. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And the high priestess.
And there she is. Oh, we get two. Wow. Beautiful. So we got Master Healing 33, 6. 6, which is actually, it's not negative. It's all about harmony. And 33, 2, which is really cool, because that's when the threes come, usually there's ascended masters and stuff that are working with us. And I know Lisa's been working with some ascended masters. I personally have been working with some ascended masters. Like, we all have access to them, you know, call to them. They're there. And the Master Healing, like going back to that dark night of the soul, That's what's necessary to achieve the master healing that we need, is to actually face those darker aspects within ourselves. Like I I find a lot of the extremes in, how am I doing? I'm not gonna, oh yeah, cool. I'm just like, I don't want to get kicked off and have part 1, part 2, part 3. So backing up. Master healing, and very cool. Past life activation, which is a big thing I know right now that has been happening, is like we're getting new codes, but also codes, like it's almost like a rearranging and stuff in our DNA. How did she put it earlier? It was so cool the way she put it. But it's like stuff that hasn't been tapped into because it has been suppressed in a sense. It's starting to rise up, you know, things that each of us as individuals and like the molecular structure of our whole, you know, there have been things that have held us back from unleashing this, like this beautiful stuff that we're tapped into that will contribute to this master healing. And I know personally I can vouch for that. Like there's a lot of stuff that I've held within that I've just kind of bit my tongue because, you know, people weren't ready, or and you know, it's like right now I'm being guided to just start letting it out. And I would like to encourage, you know, all my brothers and sisters of like wearing anything human, you know, if we're choosing these vessels, it's because of what we have to offer, you know, that we can bring from other places. And past life activation, like past life activation, I'd like to add to the fact it's not always necessarily like incarnation in this physical plane of existence. Like we're galactical beings, you know, some of us like hybrids coming here, and there's things like from that come up from within us, that those are lives that we have lived. And you know, to not be afraid to acknowledge it now, because the world is ready. And even if it isn't ready, it's still like it needs it, you know, we need it as a whole. So I just want to read, I'm gonna read a little bit. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this deck in particular is the Lightworkers Oracle by Alana Fairchild. Master Healing. There we go. So, as you meditate, remain true to what inspires your heart and commit to your spiritual path. You become an increasingly powerful healer. You are here to live your own life, to be true to what genuinely moves you. The unconditionally loving guide and ascended master Serapis Bey comes to you now with a blessing of master healing to further your success on your path. So Serapis Bey is a beloved guide for those who feel a strong soul connection to ancient Egypt, for healers who are developing their own modalities, and those who love to work with high frequency concepts. He also assists with the translation of spiritual inspiration into practical worldly plans. He comes to confirm that the ascended masters are aware of you, of us, all of us working to help in this manifesting of new earth. We are an integral part of a powerful spiritual team that has taken physical incarnation to help awaken consciousness into love. Absolutely. I know all of us here are part of the twin flame, twin soul collective. So definitely, I think all of us can vouch for that. It's like one of the biggest parts of the process is reminding each other of what unconditional love actually means, you know. And it's not to say like disregard of your boundaries, or like, you know, loving someone unconditionally, but you know, also we have to love ourselves unconditionally first. And we need to give ourselves that respect and honor that. That was my old quote when I ran my core balance fitness business on the coast. My quote I had on a lot of the backs of my business cards was "Master yourself." The rest is easy. And it's like,
That's
yeah,
good.
it's really quite simple. It's not going to be very easy. And then the past life activation, which is right here. Oops. Ooh, cool.
This is good,
You have talents within that have been developed through many varied life experiences. You have had many lifetimes already, even if you don't recall them consciously, helping you to evolve and grow into the loving being that you are today. Your desire to grow in consciousness and spiritual power to assist the divine plan unfolding throughout the universe is heard and supported by the spiritual world in all ways. To this end, past life material is being activated now for your benefit and the greater good. I'm going to say the invocation, or I'll get Lisa, actually. I'm going to get you to do the Master Healing invocation.
Sure.
So this is for all of us.
So, I call upon loving Master Seraphis Bey and his Master Healing through the clear flame of truth and grace. We ask to know, in the perfect time, in the perfect way, according to the divine wisdom, the truth in all matters of importance to us and to our divine life journey. Now, including here, you may ask any particular questions. We ask to be lovingly shown our true nature, our deepest desires, and most inspired dreams. Please help me know myself so that I know how best to live my divine destiny. May all beings on earth be self-knowledge, be assisted and supported with unconditional love. Through our own free will and divine grace, so be it.
So be it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And the invocation for the past life activation. So on behalf of us, the United Souls, or the United State of Being. Yeah, the United States of Being. I love it. Through divine grace, protection, mercy, and empowerment, I call for the activation of all past life gifts and abilities that will serve my greatest and most joyful, inspirational, and soul-satisfying success this lifetime. I ask for healing assistance from the higher beings that love me unconditionally, so I can swiftly release any unhelpful conditioning or resistance to the expression of these talents. I ask for inspiration and guidance to bring them to life in the world in the best possible way this lifetime. May all beings receive their full divine inheritance with mercy and grace. Through my own free will, so be it. Aho. And that be that. Do you have anything?
No.
Should we add? No? Cool. Thanks, guys. Manifesting new Earth. Tune in. And look, I did it under 30 minutes. Woohoo! That's a first. Love and light. Till next time, guys.